It's Klein and Chloe here today. We're doing a video for the Th0t channel. So yeah, this video is actually one Chloe picked out to react to. I decided that we should do react videos, and Chloe picked this one out. So you're welcome to the poor souls that are about to endure this video. Anyways, let's get into it.
Years ago, I made a video about how if you don't like seeing lewd things online, simply close your eyes and walk away. But what happens when you do close your eyes and walk away, but no matter where you walk away to, you bump right back into it? Whether it's on—
Oh yeah, and we're gonna be pausing all the time because, that's kind of the point of a react video,
If you don't want to see lewd things online, just close your eyes and walk away.
I mean, it's true.
It's not wrong. This crap is everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it used to be true that way. It used to be.
on Twitter,
they're trying to stop
TikTok,
it.
or even Twitch. Dasani water. I'm gonna get canceled for this. All these years, and
As
this
you
is
should
what's
be.
gonna get me canceled. I don't want to hear it from any water snobs, okay? Where are my fellow Dasani heads at? But anyway, do you like the red hair? A lot of the Twitch thoughts that I'm going to be talking about have red hair. I felt like I was missing out. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are talking
You're not
about the
missing much.
Twitch Th0t epidemic and its consequences, as well as OnlyFans culture and the destabilization of I promise this won't make sense. Maybe. Like all my videos are just kind of messy brain.
So what are you thinking so far, Chloe? Because
I mean, all of these points are valid, and that stuff is pretty much happening. The fucking she's, and I know she bleeped this out, so I'm gonna have to bleep this in editing. But she said the desexualization of, and that is 100% true because these days everything except sex is sexualized.
pretty much.
It's terrible. And OnlyFans in its own is fine, but OnlyFans culture, like when you start taking that stuff out of the app itself, like OnlyFans, and you're like, oh, it's fine. I'm an OnlyFans model. Just start stripping in the middle of the fucking pool. I don't know. That is terrible. That stuff is so bad, and that stuff happens.
Yep.
I don't like that stuff happens.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna like most of these videos, I would say.
Yeah,
'Cause
it seems very
it's-
interesting so far.
I mean, it's got enough brain rot to keep both of us interested. Plus, it's my way to force you into watching the videos anyway.
That's fair. That's true. That's true.
Damn it.
Vomit. I mean, I guess that's one way you can be sure I'm not plagiarizing. When I start to sound smart and make sense, that's a red flag. I figured out how to use ChatGPT. So for those of you who are unaware, Twitch is a video game streaming website, or at least it used to be, where people often stream themselves playing video games and interact with their viewers. But recently, in the past few years, it has been invaded by women. But not
Don't
only
touch
women,
Twitch after
naked
dark.
women. Now you might be asking, Shoo, what is wrong with that? And normally, you'd be correct. But Twitch is a website for kids, advertised for users 12 and up, and predominantly used by young boys. And the question on everyone's mind is, are these evil Jezebels preying on today's youth? Or are they simply the product of capitalism? Clever, sneaky women taking advantage of people living under a brutal system in order to selfishly make money. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Before we get into this, let's quickly get into today's sponsor.
No
Skip!
sponsors.
Skip the sponsor.
Sponsorship.
I honestly completely forgot that Twitch was advertised as something like for children
Mhm.
with how much 18 plus content it has on it.
Yep.
Did you hear about that one stream where the gameplay was like green screened onto this chick's ass?
No, I did not.
You didn't. Oh my god.
I'm not on Twitch that much. It's funny because I'm I'm following a whole bunch of people on Twitch, but I never actually sit down and watch Twitch, which is weird.
That's fair, though. Honestly, that's fair.
It's mostly because I never have time to just sit and watch a stream. Like, I'm gonna be real. Most of the time when I'm watching something, it's like a video that's already pre-recorded and I can pause it whenever.
I think that's why a lot of Twitch streamers are putting like edited VODs on YouTube now.
Yeah.
It's because there's that whole like other side of people who just don't wanna, or they don't have time to sit through an entire thing. They'd rather save it for later. I
Yeah.
am one of those people. I would much
Well, I
rather
mean, why
save
do
it
you
for
think I
later.
have like 100 tabs open on my on my PC whenever I'm on
You've
on
got like
Google?
20,000 tabs open.
It's
I'm surprised your
120.
computer
It's
runs.
120 specifically.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Half of them are actually 80% of them are anime. The rest is YouTube.
That's fair. That's fair.
And hey, at least I get rid of 2 anime tabs a day, but usually I end up adding like 4 more, so that's usually how that goes.
You're just like, I finished that one, I finished that one, but now I want to watch these.
Exactly.
A whole pile of anime tabs in front of you.
hey, it's not my fault so many animes come out. I want to watch most of them.
During this video, and as always, thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Now let's get back to the video. So about 2 weeks ago, this tweet showed up on my Twitter timeline. What's going on with Twitch? Which showed a streamer wearing no shirt, swinging her fun bags around slightly off camera every time she got a donation. So for strictly research purposes, I went to Twitch to see if this was real, and surely enough it was. And it wasn't just one streamer, it was many. It was multiple. It was the entire home page. And then when you went to click on one of the streams, it just took you there.
That's why you
No
chose
verification
this
needed,
video.
no login required, nothing. And the whole internet
No.
pretty much agreed this was insane. Not everyone, we will get to that, but most people agreed this was crossing a line. Because of all the outrage, Twitch changed.
Oh yeah, and this is something that happened like a year ago. Like not even really. It's something that happened relatively recently.
So terrible. I'm so glad I don't find stuff like that on my Twitter.
The rules, not to fix the website. They changed the
not
rules
searching.
in order to save the Twitch thoughts. Twitch actually doubled down and made it so twerking, pole dancing, and artistic nudity was allowed. Artistic nudity. Right. So obviously, Twitch is run by simps. We knew this.
Oh,
Anyway.
I actually have commentary on this. So, now that I'm thinking about it, there was a point in time during when this was going on where there was a bunch of VTubers got banned because of the artistic nudity thing, because it didn't apply to VTuber models, but it applied to actual people.
That is worse, in my opinion.
I
That
know,
is
it's
so much
goofy. It
worse.
makes no sense. It didn't apply in the case of real people doing artistic nudity, but a VTuber did stuff like. Well, I mean, to be fair, there were some VTubers that were just straight up naked. Like, full on naked, basically.
Well,
Not
I'm
even
glad you
artistic
put
nudity.
lingerie in our models at least.
Like, not even
It's
like
just so
artistic. It was just straight up nude. Like the areolas were out and everything.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Artistic nudity. At least put some of those like nipple stickers on. The
Yeah.
one with the little tassels.
Yeah.
Can't be too hard to rig those to swing around in two separate directions.
Artistic nudity, so like Can you glue googly eyes onto your Can you do like a little meat spin on camera with googly eyed, and that would be considered cool and fine because it's art, right, Twitch? Why am I still doing this? So then VTubers, animated YouTubers, took advantage of this new artistic nudity rule and started streaming their avatars butt-ass naked.
It's called hentai,
Oh, jeez.
and it's art.
Love that guy.
Only for them to get banned while the Twitch thoughts remained. Clearly, 2D girl discrimination. A few days later, Twitch finally banned the Twitch thoughts for a day.
If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Okay, time's up.
This has been going on for a very long time, from hot tub streams to ASMR ear licking. Twitch has just becoming a cesspool for this stuff,
annoying.
especially in the past 3 years, following a
can't
pattern
stand
I have been
ASMR.
seeing online.
See, there is some kinds of like stuff that's considered ASMR that doesn't bother me. What does bother me is the like whisper in your ear stuff. That kind of ASMR bothers me. Or
I
like
can't stand that. It's like,
Like-
fucking evilness in my brain.
it really bothers me. Like, cause there are some ads out there that like I've been getting every once in a while that really fucking grind my gears because it's whispering in a specific tone of voice that really bothers me. Like, and it always seems to be a dude. It always seems to be a dude. I don't want to
We've been
hear.
trying to contact you about your car's extended
No,
warranty.
no. It's usually like, hey, you want to try and get this burger right here?
No, I don't want that burger.
The juicy, crispy.
Oh, stop it. That's so gross. No.
Yeah,
Get
that
out of my
kinda,
head.
That kind of shit. That bothers the fuck out of me. I don't like it. It's like, it's like nails on a chalkboard in my brain. It just, ugh. Like,
That's horrible.
and like some kinds of ASMR are fine to me. It doesn't bother me. And in fact, some of them I actually quite like. But that kind of ASMR I don't like. I don't want to hear an ASMR ad. I don't want to hear it. Like, it bothers me. And it sucks because like when you report an ad, they're like, "Oh, well, why don't you like this ad?" And none of it says like, "It really bothers me that I'm getting this ad in the first place." None of that is an option. It's like, "Oh, it's inappropriate, da 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 da," and it's like, in a way, it kind of is inappropriate to show an ad like that, anyways, because I don't know. Usually, that kind of ASMR is innately sexual, you know,
Yeah.
or intimate. Because, like, you know, if you're whispering like that in somebody's ear, it's usually in a sexual manner, not in a, like, hey, I'm trying to get you to buy something manner, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so bad. It's horrible. And most of the viewers for ads like that are children.
Oh, I just remembered what it was. It was a McDonald's ad.
Oh my god, I don't even eat at McDonald's.
You see, I don't mind eating fast food, but if anything's gonna turn me off of eating fast food, it's an ASMR ad of somebody talking about a fucking like burger with like tangy pickles, like in a fucking whisper voice in my ear.
Ugh.
Like, especially when, like, you know, I'm casually listening to music and then it's like, the tangy pickles of, yeah, no, you know what I mean. Like, it
Oh,
bothers me. I
God.
don't like that.
That's
Anyway.
why I pay for Spotify Premium.
I mean, I've got Spotify Premium. I'm talking about whenever I listen to YouTube, because I'm not buying YouTube Premium. It's too expensive.
Oh, I'll share my account with you, man.
Anyway.
A huge increase of OnlyFans models and everywhere. And it isn't just my observation, it's a fact. There are many studies that came out that show pornography and pornography addiction increased significantly during the pandemic, especially for young people, and hasn't decreased since. And the amount of people making content on OnlyFans has skyrocketed. Being locked in our houses absolutely did something to our brains. You used to have to go out of your way to see this stuff, and now it's everywhere. Now compare this.
I mean, she does have a really good point here as well. Um, I would say that during the pandemic, we were very repressive and like uh how do I put it? We were very we stayed very indoors, you know.
Yeah.
Closed off, I guess is a way to put it. And I think people forgot, like, when, once they went back to somewhat normalcy, how to be normal, how to act in a
I
normal
think
society.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. I think I got really lucky during the pandemic. The pandemic started when I like graduated high school and I just jumped directly into college. So I didn't have very many things that I really needed to distract myself with. Not that I enjoy watching that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
I physically cannot watch that kind of stuff. It is I'm not like slut shaming or anything, but my brain will look at something like that and want to turn itself inside out. That's just me because I'm autistic. I'm not being all like, oh, people who watch that are horrible. And I physically cannot watch that stuff. So I didn't really get that, but I was close to a lot of people who did during the pandemic,
Hmm.
and it was not very good on them. I understand that starting an addiction like that is very hard to stop.
Like, I mean,
That's
granted, there are
perfectly
some people
fair.
that are completely brain broken by porn, and I understand that, like, it's an addiction, it's a problem. Um, like, it's something that, it it gets a lot of attention, and rightfully so. Um, because it's something that's important to look at because, like, a lot of people's brains are just broken by it.
Yeah,
Like, especially, like, dudes, but, like, I think a spotlight is missing for, like, women that get brain broken by, like similar things, if that makes any sense. Because, like,
kind of.
I never really get to see, like, the female perspective of being brain broken by sexual stuff. I'm gonna be honest.
That's fair. Yeah.
Well, I guess actually, now that I think about it, that would technically just be OnlyFans stuff.
Oh, they're brain broken by all the money coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be how it works. I don't know. I'm not
They're
exactly.
just like, if I pose with my boobas out and show a little bit more of my booty, then people gonna pay me because they're jerking off over there. I feel like that's weird. I feel like if I knew some random strangers were using my photos for that, I would want to murder every single one of them.
See,
You
and,
know?
like, I told my mom this, like, the other day. Like, it's really hard to find someone that isn't kind of doing that kind of stuff today because there's so many people in our generation that are doing that.
That is
It's
true.
really hard to find, like, a partner that's not doing that kind of stuff. And, like, even then, even less that are also all there in the head, you know what I mean? Also, if I sound like I'm sick, my sinuses are just kicking my ass today.
I have two tiny little circles of darkness staring at me from underneath my desk.
Banana is
Looking
really
down.
interested in the video, isn't she?
Yeah.
But yeah, I told my mom this the other day, and, like, we were talking about it. I was like, it's really hard to find somebody, like, that's, like, willing to have, like, a serious relationship that isn't, like, either crazy or, like, an OnlyFans model, because, like, Um, it's just there's so many people that are doing it, and like there's so many unreasonable, entitled people coming from that because like why would somebody want to like sit down and have like a date with somebody, you know, even if they do OnlyFans and stuff like that, if they can just go and see like all the goods for like free or like for $5. You know what I mean?
You know what I want to do?
What's up?
I'm gonna start 2 different OnlyFans accounts. I'm gonna do one that's just food porn. It's just complete pictures of noodles and stuff like that. I'm gonna do another one. I'm gonna call it Only Paws. I'm just gonna take pictures of Banana's paws. This little doggy's gonna start paying rent.
Oh God, you're gonna get the zoophiles. Oh no.
Oh God, no, never
Oh
mind.
God.
I don't want to do that.
You're gonna wake up the zoophiles. They're gonna be like, "Can you have her bark for me?"
Oh God, no. The second that happens, I'm canceling myself and disappearing off the face of the internet. I will fucking leave.
Oh my God. Oh, that was a funny joke in all honesty. Anyway.
As to how I talked about this issue a few years ago, where I would make fun of people for complaining about. This is like walking into a strip club and being like, get your horny asses out of here. The difference is now everywhere is the strip club. It's to the point where even meme accounts on Twitter are being paid to discreetly advertise OnlyFans pages. And you can't even block the accounts that show up as ads on Twitter. Great website, Elon. 13 plus, by the way.
Instagram
And
can
anyone
do
who
the same
points this
thing.
out is called a
Yeah, YouTube
prude
does
or
the
a
same thing
conservative. If you have an issue with naked women making softcore on a website full of children, you're the problem. How does the overall well-being of society affect you, bigot? Most of the internet seemed to agree that this Twitch thing was wrong, but there were a lot of people mad at me and others for pointing out the obvious. So we're gonna respond to some of those critiques from people who disagree on this subject, and then we're gonna talk a little more deeply about all of this, because I feel like it's a little deeper than the Twitch thoughts. The Twitch thoughts are just a symptom of a disease. Why doesn't Twitch just make a new 18 plus site? They do this on Twitch because the market is already saturated on actual porn cam sites.
also
They won't stand out. They can find a larger, younger audience on Twitch. What I'm trying to say is, these should be banned.
Yep.
Okay, so my tweet was a little harsh, but am I wrong? Blaming these women for what Twitch allows and calling them
Sometimes you
accomplishes
have to
nothing.
be a little bit harsh to get your point across. And
That is very true.
I think people usually end up getting mad at me for it because usually like I'll actually do that. I'll actually go, it's like, hey, I gotta give you the tough love.
You are very blatant.
Well, yeah, because I don't want to be misunderstood because I've had because of how bad I am at explaining things. A lot of times people misunderstand what I'm saying.
I think being blatantly obvious is a very good thing.
Yeah.
Too many people these days just beat around the bush, and that's what causes problems in the first place.
Well, yeah, and like I usually don't like to beat around the bush because like unless it's like a topic that I really don't want to talk about, I'm gonna be upfront about it because that's just how I am, and I know it's how it's gonna get the situation solved. Um, or the problems like out in the open. Because like I've known from experience that if I beat around the bush, the problem's not gonna get solved. Which is why like people like that's why people like used to get mad at me because I would tell it to them like it is. It's like, look, this is exactly why X person is upset with you,
Yeah.
because you're being this way. Ah!
Except morally grandstanding that you think you're better than them. So first of all, I am better than them. So are you. So is everyone who doesn't make on Twitch. And second of all, I know calling them whores does nothing. I did it because it was funny. These are grown-ass women toying with the TOS. They know what they're doing is wrong. They know they're walking a fine line. That's why they're here, on Twitch, and not on the hundreds of adult websites that exist. If a pair of tits are so dangerous to you, maybe you should lock yourself in the cave. Cry more, lil bro, and tell your fellow bros to stop thinking with their dicks. Hello, fellow bros. Stop thinking with your dicks. Brace yourselves. The incels about to lose their minds and act like women are ruining Twitch. Lol at the men in these comments admitting they are not attracted to women. I'm sorry you don't like hot women. Maybe work on the internalized misogyny. Nah, sorry. If you don't like huge oiled up milkers bouncing around on a Twitch stream, I'm just gonna assume you hate women. Do straight men even like women? Oh, you're not sexualizing women? You're not just gooning to every woman you see?
glad I
What do
don't
you
have a
hate
Twitter
women?
account.
What are you, gay? How did they manage to reverse engineer being sexist into not going awooga, awooga, honk, honk every time they see a woman? Incredible. Huge fan of these mammoth
that's
milkers, but I do worry about the dynamic and weirdness of women who are essentially sex workers.
Okay, I wanna say, Bosch is crazy. The stuff that I occasionally see from Bosch, even though I'm not on Twitter, always breaks my brain. Like, Bosch is just one of those fucking weirdos, bro. Like, I don't even understand half of the shit that he says. Like, people like Bosch and stuff like that just don't make my brain work. My brain just disappears, basically. It goes on vacation.
Interacting with and asking for donations from chat on a site largely used by young men. Feels like a race to the bottom. When Vosh and I, the people who talk about f***ing Pokemon, are saying things have gotten weird,
That's true.
I think that's proof that things have gotten weird. As a sex worker,
Yeah.
I agreed.
Yeah.
I dislike the blurring of adult and all ages platforms like Twitch and TikTok, but I also don't know what men expected when it's so successful either. I don't know, I guess men expected women not to get borderline naked on a website occupied with children, maybe? The bar is
Yeah.
really not that high. There is a market for literally everything. That doesn't make literally everything excusable.
Yeah.
If you give your kid unrestricted access to the internet, that's a you problem. Parents have to take some level of responsibility over their child's online content consumption.
But they shouldn't
And then when you
have
think
to.
a website is perfectly safe, and then you go on there one day and it's full of
Mhm.
porn, that's not entirely your issue. That is the
Exactly.
issue of the website being advertised falsely.
And this is how stuff like Roblox grooming happens.
Oh yeah. I
Because you think
I
that you're
know I
safe.
don't.
You think that you're safe until you're not. And
Sucks.
I have personal experience with that. You think you're safe and then you're not. And
Yeah.
Roblox will never take responsibility for it because they never do. Um I
I
know of
don't
a
think
lot.
anything anywhere would ever take
Well,
responsibility for something happening on
funnily
their
enough,
platforms.
there are certain platforms that do, and it's usually not the bigger ones. The bigger ones are usually like, that's not my problem. I don't even know who you are. Um, but smaller platforms tend to actually take stuff seriously because, it's usually a smaller, tighter knit community, and like
That
the
is true,
people
yeah.
know each other, and they're like, well, this isn't acceptable. But yeah, like it's grooming and stuff like that happens on all of these platforms basically, like YouTube, Twitch, Roblox, and it really shouldn't be up to the parents to monitor their children's online content consumption, but at the same time, I do somewhat agree with people watching their kids on what they're consuming. But if,
Mm.
as you said earlier, if you like are told that the website is child friendly, it should be child friendly.
Even the surface of um like websites like Roblox do at first appear child friendly. It's not until you do some digging, and sometimes the parents won't be doing the digging
Right.
if the children are already on the site.
Right, because what when you usually like a person will glance at something and make a determination just based off of the glance. which it's not really a good thing, but every human does it. It's a part of human nature.
Yeah.
Because if it's not really like front and center important in your eyes, you're just gonna glance at it.
Mhm.
And that is a flaw that every human possesses, and it's literally not something that's ever going to change. It's always going to be something present in the human psyche. It's just normal. Um, but at the same time, I don't think it should be used as an excuse.
Yeah.
um, an excuse to say, well, people are being irresponsible and need to be watching their child's content closer. It's like, no, I mean, I figure the person who's saying this will also be doing the same thing, is not realizing that their child's consuming like inappropriate stuff.
One of the funniest things that I've noticed about parents, especially like parents with an incredibly large online presence, they are very quick to judge other people for a small mislip, even if they themselves are doing it. Hypocrisy is very prevalent everywhere.
Anyway, back to the video. We've been off topic for a little bit too long. Anyway,
So I agree with this. Of course, I agree with this. Parents should absolutely be monitoring what their kids are looking at online. The issue is Twitch is advertised as a website for them. It is advertised for users 12 and up, so parents will naturally assume that the website doesn't feature like this. I think that's a pretty reasonable assumption to make. Like, I don't have to sit and watch Nick Jr. constantly with a 10-year-old just in case Peppa Pig decides to go Girls Gone Wild. It's safe to assume that is not going to happen. So yes, you should be monitoring what your kids are doing online, but this isn't like a kid going onto an 18 plus website. This is a kid going on a website that is advertised for them, that is made for them. So this is in big part the website's problem. A lot of people were saying that the solution to this would be making Twitch 18 plus, which I agree makes perfect sense to do, but the thing is, Twitch won't make it 18 plus, because that's what drives away advertisers. Lots of advertisers won't advertise on websites that are 18 plus. It's too risky, it's bad for their brand. And Amazon, the owner of Twitch, needs more money, of course. Same reason Twitter isn't being made 18 plus, because at the end of the day, the richest men in the world need more money. And apparently, Twitch is going bankrupt. No wonder they want to keep the Twitch thoughts on the platform. Also, I didn't even know that Twitter was only 13 plus until embarrassingly recently. Elon, I beg of you, either make Twitter 18 plus or get rid of the porn. I personally think the former is the better idea because I'm tired of seeing unsolicited opinions of minors on the internet, and I just don't get tired of seeing images of strangers' buttholes pop up on my Twitter timeline while I'm scrolling in public. Always a joy. But think of the children aside,
obviously.
Twitch is just not a website for this. There are thousands of other
Don't you love scrolling and then you see a random butthole pic? Uncensored?
No, 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 no.
websites for this. There are so many, so why do these women have to do this on a website not for this? Well, it's simple. Because the websites that are made for this stuff are already oversaturated. The market is full, and basically these mids are not going to stand out on a dirty webcam site where there's thousands of other people doing exactly what they're doing. But when there's only a
Which is also why
That's true.
I feel like as VTubers we should be watching this kind of content. Oversaturated market. Our way to get big is by doing what other people are doing. But doing it better. Because we're better. Obviously.
So much better.
Obviously. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
There's no arrogance in that at all. I'm very easy. Honestly. No arrogance. Fully arrogant. I admit.
She's a little bit self-confident.
few dozen on Twitch doing it, they're more likely to stand out, get more followers, make more money, and attract an audience that wouldn't normally go on those other sites. Unfortunately, in this case, a much younger audience. I remember in like 2008 or so, I did a fan meetup, and most of the people that came were in their 20s, in college, in their 30s, but there were like a few 12, 13-year-olds, 15-year-olds with their parents, and I was just like, oh, oh no. Like, it just didn't even occur to me that people that young would be watching my content or interested in my content. But just the fact that people that age knew about me was so scary. So I just have to wonder, like, how are these people not feeling that way? Like, I didn't purposely go out of my way to attract that audience, but these people are going out of their way to attract that audience. If they weren't, they wouldn't be doing it on this website. They would be doing it on the websites this stuff is for. What makes it possibly even grosser is the fact that Twitch uses in-game money, meaning a kid could use their parents' money to buy Twitch bits or whatever the and then use those Twitch bits in order to get these women to interact with them and to shake their and their parents would never know. Many people suspect this is the reason Twitch made that change, but I don't know. It does line up with Twitch's MO. They will do anything to keep these women on their platform. They are their cash cow. They bring in the big bucks. After all, there is a market for this. Men, takes two to tango. Most of these would be broke if it wasn't for your coomer asses. Oh wow, sex workers working under capitalism? How crazy. Every man in this comment section has mommy issues and gets no actions. Y'all mad she's making more money with less effort. Finding this sexual makes you're a pervert. Go to your dead mom. Smartest Twitter user. Sounds like you're just mad you can't manipulate a following in the same fashion. Granted, I don't condone it, but you're coming off as salty as a group of people found a loophole around the TOS and are abusing it. Frankly, these women should be praised for thinking outside the box and pandering to an audience that isn't oversaturated. You can't.
I think anyone that doesn't have the opportunity to exploit something that other people can is going to be a little upset. Let's be honest.
That's true. And sadly, that also applies when the exploiting the thing is incredibly wrong and should be illegal.
Right. And it's not right to be like doing this kind of stuff, but at the same time, people that can't do it and they can see other people doing it are always going to be a little bit upset that they themselves can't do it. Even if it's a horrible thing, because people in general are horrible people. I think it was like assume the worst and you will never be disappointed or something like that.
I wish we could always assume the best, but in the era of anonymousness, that doesn't really happen very often at all ever.
Brain rot. It's always kind of been this way throughout history. It's just now it's kind of more out in the open because, like, you know, we're more connected now than ever, which is funny because we're more lonely than ever. That's another video for another time. That's another video topic that she talks about at one point. We're gonna spend a whole few hours on that one. And I bet you're excited for that. I can tell.
Can't exactly criticize them for being smart enough to know which outlet has a higher chance of yielding income. What do you mean? It takes 2 seconds to take off my shirt. Literally any woman in the world can do this, but most don't because making on a website mostly populated by minors is gross and insane. Gonna be honest, I thought you were a dude. Funny you shame the women when it's clearly women just taking advantage of the system we live under, capitalism. Yet you call yourself a socialist? A lot of issues do come down to capitalism, but as we do so often with other things, you can criticize people exploiting this system and exploiting the loopholes in this system. We don't just hand wave away politicians buying stock. We don't just hand wave away Jeff Bezos making his employees pee in bottles just because we live under capitalism and it is what it is. No. Yes, ultimately, I guess it's a capitalism issue. It's a TOS issue. But you'd never apply this standard to people marketing gambling or crypto scams on Twitch, which is funny because, like, a year ago, there was like a bunch of gambling drama on Twitch, and one of the biggest critiques people had was, there are children on this site, you're basically selling gambling to children. So how is this any different? It's amazing that just because they're women, suddenly they get a pass. And if you call it out, you are slut-shaming or a pick-me, of course. Oh look, Queen Pick-me is at it again, putting down other women. Shue is, I'm not like other girls personified. Okay, this insult normally doesn't work, but it especially doesn't work here because I am like other girls. Most women, in fact, do not make on Twitch. It's incredible how criticism of even like a single woman is seen as some personal betrayal, and the only reason you would do so is male attention. I never understood why I need to feel some sort of like loyalty to complete strangers just because we were born the same sex. I don't know you bitches. I don't support all of you. Some of you were dumb. Like as if these kids don't have access to
Hell
porn at
yeah.
the tips of their fingertips. Trust me, if they want porn, they will get it. There aren't any toddlers on Twitch as far as I'm aware. It's 13 plus. Do Americans think children will be traumatized by seeing naked women? Do they not realize those same kids can and do simply go to porn sites to jerk off? Shoo, I hate to tell you this, but the average kid is seeing way worse stuff online all the time. Yeah, that's not a good thing. Let's be real, this ain't nothing to kids nowadays. I grew up with the internet as a kid/teen and was able to find stuff back in 2002. Where now it's literally so easy to find stuff and most teens have phones. I don't think they would be fazed by this content. Again, that is a bad thing. Maybe it shouldn't be that way. I hate this whole, well, that's just the way things are attitude.
Yeah, and she's right. There is a lot of like, oh well, this is the way it is. Like
It should not be
attitudes.
the way that
shouldn't
it
be.
is.
You're right. It shouldn't be. This attitude is a really big problem that a lot of people have, and
It's
it's like,
complacency.
yeah, and like I understand complacency because sometimes I am complacent, but at the same time, you shouldn't be like complacent. You should always be trying to make things better. At the end of the day, you should always be striving for better. I usually do try to strive to be better, but like I mean I won't lie, as a human being I am guilty of complacency sometimes just because I'm lazy. You know?
I'm complacent because I have to be, but I know that there's just some things that nobody should ever be complacent about, and they are.
Yeah.
And that is what is mostly wrong with the world.
Right.
It's so
Like
horrible.
you should always be trying to improve the world around you because at the end of the day you are like like the world is what you make of it really at the end of the day. And plus like your actions also affect other people. Like if you strive for better, other people around you are going to strive to be better too.
Yeah.
And the better that we are as a society, the better that like everything will be. And maybe one day it wouldn't have to be like that.
That's how you get people coming up with these head-ass ideas.
Yeah, that. I remembered this tweet from this video. It's like,
Ew.
ugh, ugh, gross.
I absolutely hate.
Yeah.
Like making for kids because kids will find porn anyway. There were so many replies to me that were like, I was watching hardcore since I was 10 and I turned out fine. Your Twitter likes are public, sir. No, you didn't. You don't see a
didn't turn
problem
out
with this
fine.
because you are extremely desensitized. And
Yes, and that's another thing. Our generation is extremely desensitized. Extremely desensitized, and
Yeah.
like, and it's because of all the stuff that we saw growing up. Like, I mean, think back to like I don't know if you really had to deal with this, like, but like gaming lobbies back in the day. All
Oh,
the shit
yeah.
that you would hear online was wild, wild.
I
Like,
was an Xbox gamer as a kid, and it was
mhm.
even bad there.
Like that's why my Xbox was never connected to the internet because my mom saw stuff like that and was like, I don't want my kid to experience that. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I still like experienced that kind of stuff when I was on my PC at home because that stuff didn't just stop at Xbox and stuff like that. That transferred over to PC too.
Mhm.
Playing TF2 or Dota and stuff like that, you would hear some of the most wild out there shit. Like you would hear people saying the N-word, you would hear people saying all sorts of stuff like, oh, like you should kill yourself and stuff like that. You're a fucking loser. Like you would hear
John
so
Lennon. John
yeah,
Lennon.
you would hear
John
so many
Lennon.
different things, and it was bad, so bad.
Yeah.
And I feel like like we got all desensitized from all the stuff that we heard and saw from back then, like, because everything was so accessible back then because the internet was the Wild West as it was.
Yeah.
And it's because people didn't understand it. People still don't understand it now, but it's not as much of the Wild West as what it used to be, which to an extent is okay. There are some stuff that doesn't make sense that's done, but I understand a lot of it. Like, some of the censorship stuff doesn't make any sense. Why do you let this happen, but you don't let this happen? What's the difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like artistic nudity is something that's allowed on YouTube. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Artistic nudity is technically allowed on YouTube. Or like,
VTuber hot tub stream?
no. Um,
Oh, thank God.
no. And I'll tell you why. It's only applied to human beings.
Oh, that's so bad.
Like I can tell you for an example. There's this YouTube video that I found from like a Reddit post at one point, and it was essentially this video is accessible to children.
Oh, no.
Because it's considered educational, so it's accessible to children. It's considered educational, so it's allowed on kids' YouTube, and it's also, accessible on normal YouTube too. Essentially, the video is a woman shaving her coochie.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fucking no.
Mm-hmm. But because it's considered educational and also protected under artistic nudity, it's fine.
No.
Mm-hmm.
My child is never allowed to have social media.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
And then there's
God.
other videos where it's like women are wearing see-through clothing, but because it's considered artistic, it's not banned on YouTube. Like, I remember this one video where this girl's wearing like this lingerie that's basically see-through. And at one point you get like a full view of her basically because she bends over to do something. Or like,
Stick to Markiplier, kids.
yeah. And you get a full view of everything. And it's funny because like people used to point out the like adult jokes in kids shows like oh well this is gonna traumatize the kids and stuff like that, and it's like honestly I don't think that was that bad compared to what we got now.
I used to love watching 2.5 Men with my mom. I think that was the worst I ever got exposed to until high school.
So I used to watch Jerry Springer with my dad. I used to watch Jerry Springer with my dad. And I know that's horrible sounding, but at the same time, my dad was a piece of shit. And that was one of the few things that I could actually watch with him and he'd actually interact with me.
Oh God.
Because my dad was a shithead.
And honestly, so am I. I'm no
If
it was a
worker
a
exclusionary
competition,
radical feminist because first of all, I'm not a feminist. It's like our culture has become so overly sexual that it's not even sexual anymore. Our culture is just becoming desensitized to sex, and that's not a good thing. I guess I just miss the days of tasteful thigh. Because of this oversaturation, many in Gen Z are apparently craving normal relationships on the big screen. They're bored of seeing sex everywhere. To them, sex has been available one Google click away since they were like 4 years old. And it's having really negative outcomes.
Yeah.
Like the amount of grown-ass millennials calling Gen Zers prudes and puritans is another word I saw. It's just really fucking weird. Like, I'm sorry we're all addicted gooners. Maybe the younger generation is trying to tell us something. Someone called me a prude over this. Me. Just like with video games when I was a kid. Boys are mad because girls are playing in a space they've deemed theirs and are kicking their asses at it. So first,
I know she's about to go
I
into
like
something,
this.
but I'm gonna say something. They're not. I'm gonna be honest. The biggest creators on YouTube and on Twitch are still men. At the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, for the most part, the biggest like content creators are men, and it just is what it is. Um,
I think that's because people only want to watch porn until they get off and then they click away from it.
mhm. And at the end of the day, it's also not really like a oh, like, this is a gendered thing. It was like, no, these are just the people that are interesting, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause a lot of people watch like fucking Mr. Beast because that's what they're into, or that type of stuff. Um,
Markiplier. Jacksepticeye.
Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie,
Oh, this is popular.
um,
PewDiePie.
uh,
I watch a lot of Big Puffer.
yeah, Puffer, yeah. I mean, Puffer's
Calling
not as
myself out
popular
here.
as those.
No, he isn't.
uh, but yeah, no, there's a lot of different YouTubers like that people watch. Most of them are men. I mean, there's very like the few female YouTubers that I watch. For most of them are VTubers. The only ones that aren't are like ShoeOnHead and like what was there might be another one that I can't remember off the top of my head, but I don't know. Usually, most of the creators that I watch are men. And that's not
I
because women don't do good content. There are women that do good content. I like ShoeOnHead's content.
I as a woman, I don't know if I should be disappointed in myself saying this. I don't watch any female content creators.
See, I don't think that's necessarily that bad of a thing. It's just what you're interested in doesn't happen to have women in it, and that's fine.
Exactly. I
There's
like
nothing
Let's
wrong with
Plays.
that. Anyway,
first of all, girls have already been in these spaces playing
Yep.
video games for years. There was no issue, so it's kind of weird to be like, sorry, we're kicking your asses, boys. Like, kicking their asses at what? Being naked on camera? Being naked on camera in front of minors? I just think it's interesting and ironic how, like, 10 years ago, these same people were fighting to keep sexualized women out of video games, and now they are fighting to keep sexualized women on Twitch, a website for video games. It has come full circle.
Yep.
If only Anita was here to
Yeah.
see it. Also, imagine flipping the genders in your stupid fake fan fiction. Imagine a grown-ass man coming into like a female space. I don't know, what's a female space? The Stanley Cup fandom. Those cups. Imagine a man coming into the fandom of these cups, dangling his ding-dong around, and people are like, can you stop? That's really weird. And he's just like, oh wow, you just hate men. Like, f you, go away. These women aren't stealing anything from the men. If anything, they're stealing from the women. Because the more Twitch becomes a website for this, the more this shit rises to the top. And the more normal streamers, especially women, who don't do this, sink to the bottom. If I was a female, wait, I am a female. If I was a female gamer grinding my ass off in this male-dominated space, the same way a lot of men do, and seeing what female content rises to the top of this website, I would be pretty demoralized. Look anywhere, not just Twitch. Sex work starts to appear like the only successful avenue a woman can go down. In 2014, there was a lot of talk about harassment towards women online. And my answer would always be like, just trolls, just block them, just ignore them. They're trying to get a rise out of you, which is still true. But a lot of these people aren't trolls anymore. They're your followers, your friends, your allies. You see, sexual harassment has evolved. 15 years ago, it was anonymous trolls entering your chat like, show me your tits. Now it's Jeff, he, him, politely asking if you're interested in joining OnlyFans. You know, show me your tits. For money. What is stopping me from taking off my shirt and making a ton of money? Besides, you know, a father figure. Pretty much nothing. Any woman can do this. Which is why So many women do this. The pressure is insane for young women nowadays, and I honestly feel bad for them. I do. I feel bad for women. What is this? What is this strange feeling? But from their point of view, from what they've been told, society is going to sexualize them anyway. You're a woman online and you don't sexualize yourself?
Yeah.
That's okay. We got AI for that. Also, while I'm editing this, I just noticed that was an ad. That's an ad on Twitter. It says ad in the corner. Dystopian. Why not simply take the power back and make money off the inevitable? It's getting weird out there. Men and women are being pushed and pulled in so many different directions. Women are being sold this idea that they should be independent girl bosses who don't need no man. And if they want to make the choice to be sex workers, that's their choice. And I consider myself socially libertarian, so I'm all for personal choice. But how much of this really is personal choice?
I work 5 days out of the week, 40 hours a week, okay? I do not make enough to live on my own. I would not make enough to pay rent, water, electric, and eat.
When are things gonna go back to where you can work and support your family without f***ing stressing out? I can't do this anymore!
Like, I just got a good job. I started in September, but even with that job, I still can't do shit. I can't buy anything. I can't afford the rent these days. Like, I'm just feeling so much despair, and I know I'm normally like really, really positive, but I'm just like, how is everyone else, and are you okay? Because the answer's probably no.
We're gonna just start an OnlyFans. In 48 hours, how much money did you make?
48 hours.
Oh my god.
I made a little over $1 million.
And that is why all of this happens.
It's so bad.
Yep, it is awful, and it is a failure, I think, on capitalism as a whole.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yep.
47 million to show tits and ass. Why wasn't I born a girl? Their lives are on Rookie. I wish I was a girl to make easy money like that. Women have it so easy, it's not even funny. There is a lie perpetuated by people on the internet that OnlyFans is this get-rich-quick scheme, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The average woman on OnlyFans only makes $180 a month, and that's average. Most are making way less than that. But this get-rich-quick lie is not being sold by only random people on the internet, it's also being sold by OnlyFans itself. Kiss that 99-cent ramen goodbye and say hello to endless opportunities on OnlyFans. This is just the 2023 version of, hey lady, I see you're having financial problems. Say, can you dance? I have a couple of friends who are pretty famous OnlyFans models, and they've disclosed to me that allegedly people who work for OnlyFans have approached them, telling them to post about how much money they made or show off expensive things they bought with money they made by being an OnlyFans model in order to recruit more women to be OnlyFans models. This includes showing off handbags, expensive clothes, makeup, cars, and even houses. Like, I just bought my first house thanks to OnlyFans. It's disgusting to do this in general, but especially disgusting to do this during a housing crisis. It's just evil. It's incredibly rare you can make a living doing this, just like YouTube. And I could not fucking imagine if YouTube sold itself like, tired of being poor? Become a YouTuber. Like, what? Now, why would they do this? Why would OnlyFans manipulate and entice poor, desperate people like this? Oh, that's why. Of course it is. That's always why. In a way, we are all selling our bodies to labor. We are all whether you work at a fast food place, you're a lawyer, or a YouTuber, we're all for capital. At the end of the day, it's a job. These Twitch girls, these OnlyFans girls, they're getting their bag. Like me, like you, like everyone else. And I guarantee you, a lot of the men who about OnlyFans models would do it instantly if they could. You would all be wants. And why wouldn't you? Go to college and go 100K in debt for a useless degree that won't get you a job? Or this? Why wouldn't you? Break your back and spirit working a 9 to 5 that you absolutely hate and get no satisfaction from? Or this? Why wouldn't you? And that, for the modern woman, is probably the most black-pilling question right now. Why wouldn't you? Get exploited or exploit yourself. So is it really the Th0t's fault? Taking advantage of a market to make it in an overwhelmingly male-dominated field? Is it really her fault for trying to survive in this unforgiving world, in a society that will abuse, exploit, and degrade her anyway? Is it really her fault? Yes!
Yep.
Yes, it is! Get off Twitch! It isn't for the end! So that was that video. I have been wanting to talk about this subject for years now. What do you guys think about this? Do you also feel that desensitization feeling I'm talking about? And how old were you when you first found this kind of stuff? Has it affected your life or relationships at all? But who cares about relationships? Who cares about real women when we can have an AI girlfriend? Am I right? Anyway, I will see you.
Oh god.
So, to answer that question, I think the first time that I got introduced to adult topics was actually even earlier than Roblox times. Back when I was in elementary school, there was this kid I used to, like, sit next to on the bus. And I sometimes wonder where he is at today. He talked about sexual stuff, like, back then. And, like, you know, as a kid, I'm kind of, like, you know, just, like, none of it really registered to me. It kind of just went over my head.
Mm.
You know, because I was, like, 8, basically. I was, like, an 8-year-old. But I was like, you know, this guy's really cool. He knows all of this cool stuff. And that was, like, the slow descent from that point onward. Like, 8 years old. Damn. Regardless, that's going to be the end of the video. The video has been almost 2 hours at this point. Even though it's a 26-minute video, 2-hour video now. Whoopsies, my bad. Do you have anything to say for the outro, Chloe?
Good fucking luck.
Fair enough. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video.
Like, comment, subscribe, motherfuckers.
Comment on the video if you have never had anything bad happen to you. Alright. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.